Hi everyone, and welcome to episode number 192 of the Karen Knits podcast, and the final podcast episode for 2023. Can't believe 2023 is gone already. Oy, oy, oy. So it is Saturday, December 30th, 2023, and it's an overcast, cold kind of day out there today. I'm perfectly happy that I don't have to go anywhere and that I can just stay indoors and talk to you and craft my little heart away. So, and my hair, I give up on my hair. it does its own thing. Anywho, if you're a new viewer, thank you so much for joining me. I hope you enjoy it here. If you're a returning viewer, thank you so much for coming back for another week to see what I've been up to. I'm so happy to have you back here again. I'm always happy to have anyone and everyone here. Everybody's welcome. Come on in. So grab yourself a drink. I'm drinking a cup of red rose tea today in my little owl ceramic cup. Just plain black tea. I don't do anything with my tea, just plain black. No cream, no sugar, nothing. So today I have all kinds of stuff to show you and all kinds of things to talk about. And I'll try to keep it down to a reasonable amount of time. Yeah, we shall see. So anyway, I have one completely finished object, one finished mostly object. I've got another project that is getting quite a bit closer to completion. I think I forgot something on my desk. Yep. Oh well. I'll explain that. That's no big deal. I have some acquisitions to show you, some progress on some ongoing whips, and I have a new make-along that I'm going to start on Monday morning that I want to talk about. So buckle in. Hopefully this won't be too long, but we shall see. Anywho, finished object number one. My Freckled Whimsy 2023 Advent Stripe socks are done, and I love them. They are so pretty. I absolutely love these. I do them 2 at a time, toe up, bare for the toes, the heels, and a little pop of color at the top like Kay Litton introduced me to. And my skein started at this dark purple, or my pair of skeins. So I do, if you've followed me for a while, this is my standard toe up 2 at a time sort of shorty socks, which I am hoping to do a bit of a tutorial for this upcoming month. Let me know down below if you'd like to see a tutorial of how I do my 2 at a time toe up sort of shorty socks. And let me know down below in the comments, and I am hoping to get that done this year coming up. That's one of my New Year's resolutions, or one of my goals for 2024. But anywho, more on that later. So I do 55 rounds, it's just straight stockinette after the toe, then 20 rounds for the gusset increasing, then I switch to the bare for the heel, just a standard heel turn, slip stitch heel flap. Then I rejoin my yarn and continue up until I've done 25 more rounds stockinette above the heel, and then I switch to a 2x2 ribbing until I'm completely out of yarn, completely out of the 50 grams. Typically it's with the 50 gram skein. With the self striping for the Advent striping, I go until I get to the end of the 24th color, and then I switch to bare just so I have a couple rounds and I can bind off without worrying about running out of the last color or getting to the next color. What I plan on doing with, I still have 50 grams of yarn left, so the plan is probably in January. We'll see when I get to doing it. But I have rolled up the rest of the 2 skeins of yarn into 2 balls. And with the 2 balls, the dark purple is in the middle of the ball, and this pale purple is where I will start a second pair of 2 at a time toe-up sort of shorty socks. And the color sequence will be in reverse. So this pale purple up here will be the first color at the toe, and then the second color, and the third color, and so on, until I get to the dark purple, which will be at the very top of the cuff. So with the 100-gram skein of yarn, I get myself 2 pair of socks that actually look different because the stripe sequence is completely in reverse. So they look like 2 completely different pair of socks. And I think that's fantastic that I get 2 pair of socks out of a 100-gram skein of yarn in these stripes. And then there's just a little ball left over with about 4 or 5 stripes worth of colors that I'm going to pair up with the leftovers from my 2022 Advent socks and eventually make another pair of socks with those. That's a project for some time down the road. Not yet. So that's my first finished object. And I've already been talking almost 7 minutes and I'm only on the first project. Oh boy, we might be here for a while. We shall see. My second finished object, so anyways, I did mention Freckled Whimsy multiple times. This was the actual, the ball band from the yarn. So it is, which one is this? The Splendid base, the fingering weight yarn, and the colorway this year was called Hearth and Home. And I loved it. I really enjoyed that a lot. So, second finished object that's not 100% finished, but enough I'm going to show you now, and I will show you again next week. This is my Advent 2023 scarf, or it's actually a cowl. And this is a pattern by Trisha Weatherston. It's an offshoot from the Sock Madness group. And every year Trisha Weatherston does a Advent scarf project for us, for all these crazy people that do Sock Madness. And I still have not blocked this. All the ends are woven in. It's been done since I think I finished it. I did finish the knitting on the 24th, or did I do a couple? I think I finished it on the 24th. And I haven't blocked it yet. I tucked in the tails and then I put it aside and kept saying, I'll get back to it, I'll get back to it. I have to get it done it has to get blocked this week. It doesn't need a lot of an aggressive blocking, but it does need a little something to show off the pattern better. So I will show this project to you again next week, and when I show you next week, I will tell you a bit more about the yarn because I can't remember it off the top of my head right now. It's a Knit Picks yarn upcycle alpaca blend, I believe is what it was called, and I believe seashell might have been the colorway. The needle size I don't remember, 3.25 millimeter maybe. I will give you all those details next week once it's blocked and I can show it to you again. But I will have a link down below in the description box to my project page, which will have all those details in there. So that's completed other than the blocking. So it's not quite 100, it's 99% done. I just have to sit down, shut up, and and block the thing. It's not a big deal. But we just had so many things going on right after Christmas and on Christmas Day and right after Christmas. Then we ended up going out of town for a couple days, Thursday, Friday, to visit a really good friend of mine. Just about a 2-hour drive away from us. So we did a little overnight day trip kind of there, overnight, little extended holiday out there to visit her. So I kept saying, I'll do it later, and now it was time to film. So I thought, I'm not going to soak it, and then I can't even show it to you at all. So enough of that craziness. I will show you that as the finished project next week, I promise. My third work in progress that was also another Advent project. As you can see, that is not a cardigan yet. Clearly not a cardigan yet, but that is a fantastic stack of grannies. So when this is all done, hopefully for next week I will get to show it to you. I was really hoping to get it finished in 2023. I don't think I'll manage to get it 100% done in the next 2 days. I might, but I'm not holding my breath. I don't quite think I'll be able to get it done in the next couple days. But it will be done fairly soon. So this is the Ariana cardigan, or will be the Ariana cardigan by Amy Christoffers. And I did a variation of the pattern following along with the way I saw Alex from My Yarny Corner do her Ariana cardigan in fingering weight and a solid color, single color grannies, as opposed to, I think it was DK or worsted weight is what the pattern is written for. And in each of the grannies are the same, but in the multiple colors, multiple colored stripes. And I loved the cardigan that Alex made. It looks so amazing. So I copied her. So what I did was I had purchased a advent calendar from Chickadee Fiber Arts, and I used that advent calendar to make all the granny squares for this cardigan, except for the last 10 squares. The last 10 squares, I used 5 of my own yarn, my own dyed yarn, and did the last 10 squares because I didn't have enough of the advent calendar. So the advent calendar allowed me to make 3 full granny squares each day, and until I had the 68 ones that I needed for my size. And then at that point, once I'd done 20 days, after that point, I did 2 granny squares per day, or per advent calendar day for the next 4 days. Plus I also made 2 half granny squares out of those, which is also, the pattern also called for that. So then the last 10 half granny squares I made out of some of my own hand-dyed yarn. And then there was 2 tiny little quarter grannies that we also had to make, and I made that out of my own hand-dyed yarn. So all of the squares are done. Every single square is crocheted, and the ends are woven in on every single one except the last 5. And those last 5 are sitting over on my desk on the other side of the room. I forgot to bring them over here. But there's 5. So I have 10 more ends left to weave in. And then all of the ends are completely woven in. And I'm ready to start assembling the cardigan. So what I'll have to do is I'm going to have to take this whole stack of grannies. Plus I have so this is the full stack of full squares, and then I have a stack of the half grannies, I have 18 of those, plus 2 little quarter granny squares. And again, the ends are all woven in on everything except the last 5 full squares. Those are the only ones that are left to do the I'm losing my words here. I only have 5 full grannies left to weave in ends. So what I'll do is, the pattern includes a diagram for how to lay out all the squares before you start assembling them. You assemble them using some kind of join as you go crochet technique, which I'll have to read up on because I haven't done one of those in forever. So probably in the next day or two, or very soon, I'm going to have to lay out all boatload of squares and lay them out in a design and combination of squares that I like. And then I have to sit down and crochet them all together, then do the button band and the ribbing at the bottom and on the cuffs, and it's done. So I am hoping to get this done in the next few days. More likely it'll take me probably the better part of this week coming up to get that 100% finished, but that's fine. Once I get into the rhythm, it probably won't take me too long to get that done. I'm going to have to decide, the pattern has you pick up the stitches for the button band and the ribbing on the cuff and the bottom, to pick that up and knit a ribbing. I'm not sure, I've seen other people, I think Alex did hers as a crochet ribbing. I might do that instead. I haven't decided. I have to sew everything, or have to crochet everything together first, and then I'll think about how exactly I'm going to do the joining. So that's the plan with that one. So that is one whip that I will be working on a goodly bit this week coming up. The other thing I want to get finished, I really want to get this done in the next 2 days, and I'm in between and tangled up. How do I manage to get these so tangled up? Just put them in and out of a project bag. Good grief. I have my December toe up sort of shorty socks. So these are the ones that I've been doing. This is the final pair of socks in my Orlando Fiber Arts 12-day advent calendar from last year, where I had 12 50-gram skeins of yarn that over what was sold as a 12 days of Christmas advent calendar, I did each of the 12 days, one per month. And these are my final pair of socks. So when I showed you these last, I was down here. And I am almost at the point now where I'm ready to start increasing for the gusset. So I'd love to have these done in December so that when I get to January 1st, I've got the entire set of 12 pair of socks done. If not by the time I go to bed on Sunday night, they're not finished, then they will be done sometime on the 1st. So that's the other thing where I'm thinking I might not get the Ariana cardigan done. There's no way I'm going to get both the Ariana cardigan and these socks both finished by Monday morning, unless I don't sleep. And if I don't sleep, they're not going to get done. It's not going to happen. So one or the other, Ariana or my 2 at a time toe up sort of shorty socks, I want to get one or the other of them done before Sunday night I go to bed. Chances are I'm going to spend more time working on this. I'm going to get those last ends done on the 5 squares so that all the ends are 100% done, and then all I have left to do is figure out the layout, crochet the squares all together, and do the finishing. I'll probably start that on Monday. And finish these between the rest of today and tomorrow. We've got a football game to watch now. Hubby's not home from work yet. There's a game of one of the college bowl games is on at noon today, and we want to watch that. So I'll get some knitting time done then. But this is going to be my focus for the next couple days because I want that done. That and block the Advent cowl. The other thing I was going to tell you about is I had a yarn acquisition. These I ordered from Wool Warehouse, and I got the 6 West Yorkshire Spinner Christmas colorways that I don't already own. I got them. I need more yarn like I need a hole in the head. That's never stopped me yet. So I had the other 2 colors, Holly, I can't remember. I have 2 of the colorways. One, I've made 1 pair of socks out of it. The second one I bought a few years back. I haven't made anything out of that yet. And these are the other 6 colorways. So this is, I don't know the names of these colorways, and I don't want to take them out of the package. And that's driving me bonkers that one was put in upside down, so it's not all. I haven't taken anything out. There were also, with the package came several pattern books, which I thought was really cool. There's a little Christmas card in there, and 2 or 3, I think there's 3 different books for sock patterns and things to do with the Christmas yarn. I'm not likely going to use any of the patterns in those because I'm probably just going to do toe up, 2 at a time toe up sort of shorty socks with all of it. But they're each 100 grams, so I can get 2 pair of socks out of 100 gram skein. So I'm trying to decide how I want to do each of them. The first pair of socks I made using the first skein I bought a few years back, I did a 2x2 ribbing. I think I did those top down. But I did a 2x2 ribbing all the way down the leg, and it was a shorter leg. The leg was only a few inches long. I did 2x2 ribbing, and then I did the heel turn, heel flap, and then I did a 2x2 ribbing all the way down the top of the foot and stocking it in the bottom, and then just stocking it for the toe. And I did, the whole sock was one, there was no contrast color. So I'm thinking what I have to find that partial skein and see how much is left of that. And maybe what I'll do is with all of the 8 total skeins I have, do 1 pair that are the 2x2 ribbing for the pair, and do a second pair of each of the colorways, doing stockinette with the contrasting. And I bought gray for the contrasting. No, that's a different one. I'll have to figure out what color I want to do the toes, but do contrasting toe, heel, and a little pop of color on the cuff, so that I can get 2 pair of socks out of each skein that look a little bit different, because one will have the contrasting toe and heel, the other one won't. That's the plan with those. We'll see how that all comes together. So that was my acquisition, and I do plan on working on those socks here and there during the upcoming year. My plans for the first part of 2024, I haven't worked out major plans for an entire year's worth of knitting, but there are a handful of things that I do want to make for myself this upcoming year. The first of those is going to be to make sort of shorty socks using my row 1 minis. I'll have the next month is going to be arriving. It'll be shipped and coming out sometime in the next little while. It hasn't shipped yet, but it'll probably ship early January. So I still have to do something with this. So the plan, as I've talked to you before, because there are 10 gram minis in here, I'm planning on making 2 pair of toe up, 2 at a time sort of shorty socks, where I'll do the toe probably in white in bare yarn, and then I will split the 10 out, or the 10 gram, each 10 gram mini I'll split in half, and then I'll do half on of the first mini, then the second mini, then the third, do the heel, and continue so that it'll have 5 stripes in 5 of the colors from the minis, and then a second pair with the other 5 10 gram minis. That's the plan right now for what I want to do with the row 1 minis. I'm not sure if I'll be able to maintain that pace, especially when Sock Madness gets here. I probably won't be able to maintain that pace. We'll see. The other thing I want to do this upcoming year is all of my, I'm just grabbing a random one, all of my yarns from my Purple Circle Yarn Co. Opal Advent Calendar. I have all 24 skeins, little 20 gram skeins that I have not done anything with yet, but I want to make 24 socks out of those. So the plan with that is that I'm going to start on the 1st of January, probably the 1st of January. I want to start making the first pair of mismatched socks. So I think what I'm going to do, I was trying to decide whether I wanted to put the socks or put all the yarn and just have the hubby or myself just randomly grab two of the bags and start knitting the socks with those 2 skeins. Or the other thing I'm thinking of doing is putting them together, 1 and 2 together, 2 and 3 and 4 together, and so on. So what I'm thinking of doing is just putting them in order 1 and 2, so that January 1st I will start working on with skein 1 and skein 2, and then in February 1st I'll start with 3 and 4, and so on. So I'm leaning towards doing them in the order that I opened them and in the order that they were placed. We'll see if I end up doing it that way or not. I have 2 days to decide. So, and I do have a few skeins of a light gray yarn that I'm going to be using for toes, heels, and a pop of color for the cuff, or however much I need to bring the socks to the length I like for my sort of shorty socks. So those are the plans for the next little while. And other ideas I have not quite yet decided on. I know I'll probably end up making some kind of sweater of some sort or 2 during the year. I don't have anything specific decided on quite yet that I can think of, but I do want to make some more wearables. I will be participating in Sock Madness, as always. So beginning in February-ish, I will start knitting Sock Madness socks. Otherwise, the rest of the year, there'll probably be toe up, 2 at a time sort of shorty socks, because I love those kind of socks. They fit, I wear them, I love making them. It's win all the way around. So, and I'll probably also be working on, or I will start up and join most likely the Stephen West Mystery Knit Along in October. Most likely. And so those are the two things that'll come in. Other than that, I'm open for other ideas for different things for knitting and probably crochet. I do want to work through my stash, and especially after this autumn, I've bought a fair bit of yarn recently, and I do need to get going on working through my stash. So I want to try to limit the amount of new yarn that comes into my stash this year. Although I'm already set to put out a seeking email or request on Ravelry, I want to get my hands on a skein of the Freckled Whimsy Advent Striping yarn in fingering weight from 2021. If I'm not mistaken, I think she's done this for 3 years. I have the 2 most recent years, and now I want a full collection. So I'm going to be on the hunt for a skein, the skein of that yarn, so that I can make 2 more pair of socks. And if I can get that, then I'll also have a little ball of those left over, so I'll be able to do a pair of scrappy socks using 21, 22, and 23 Advent yarns from Freckled Whimsy's Advent calendars. That's what I'm hoping to do, what I'd like to do. So I am on the hunt for that. And beyond that, I'm going to have to sort through all of my stash and start to figure out what I have, what kind of yarn maybe I can let go. Either gift it, donate it, sell it, I don't know. Or figure out things I can make with the yarn I have, because I have a lot of yarn. A lot of yarn. I don't need it all. I'm overwhelmed with it and need to figure out something to do with it. So that is another thing I want to work on this year, is work down, this upcoming year, is reduce my stash and either make things to donate, maybe with some of the worsted weight yarns that I don't use for as much, figure out some charity projects I can make with those. I have in the past made a lot of large crocheted squares. They're usually about 2 foot square, double or triple thickness yarn that I've donated for blankets to pet shelters, so for cats and small dogs. So I'm thinking I might make a bunch of those and get those ready to donate somewhere, the Humane Society or some other shelter. Look around and see what's close to where I live. And so that's one of the things that one of my goals this year is to work down my stash. Another thing I wanted to talk about is I have my that scrappy sock make along that I've been running for the last 2 months. That is going to be coming to a close by the end of the day tomorrow, by midnight tomorrow night. And when I podcast next week, I will draw some winners from that make along. And so I'll announce that either in a separate video, or I will include that with part of the next podcast. I'll decide that after Sunday night. So if you are still participating in that, make sure you get any pictures of your projects, finished or not, doesn't matter. Get those submitted into the thread by the end of the day Sunday night, before 2024 hits in the Eastern time zone. So, and then I'll get some prizes drawn for that. The other thing I wanted to talk about and mention, I'm trying to keep this video to a reasonable amount of time, but we're over half an hour now. Hopefully I'll be done before 45 minutes have hit. We'll see. The other thing I wanted to talk about is I am going to be starting a new make-along. And this one I'm going to have it run for an entire year. It will start January 1st, 2024, and it will run until December 31st, 2024, the end of the day, midnight. And what I want to do is have I'm gonna call it the hashtag box of socks make along MAL 2024. And the goal is to make a bunch of socks in 2024. And if you have a box you want to put them in, and like one of those pretty decorative boxes, that's cool. If you just want to put them in a drawer, that's fine. Whatever. The rules are going to be fairly loosey-goosey again, because I don't really tend to like really strict rules. or I kind of like, I rebel against really strict rules. It's just one of my quirks. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to open a thread on Ravelry, and one or two threads. I'm not sure if I might just have a chat thread and a finished object thread. Because we have a year, I'm imagining a few people will probably finish a couple pair of socks at least. My goal is to see if I can get between 24 and 36 pair of socks done in 2024. Maybe I'll aim for 24 pair of socks in 2024. That sounds like a good goal. I do want to, myself personally, I'm going to be creating 2 boxes of socks. One will be a Christmas box of socks. And what I want to do is assemble any of the socks I have that are Christmas colorways or Christmas themes or whatever Christmas related. I want a box of socks with just Christmas socks. And my total goal is to get 31 pair of socks in that box for the entire month of December, to have a different pair of socks I can wear each and every day for the month of December. I'm not going to get that done this year. That is a long-term project, and I will eventually have my box of Christmas socks. I will have more solidified goal or rules set in the Ravelry thread, but in general, the rules are going to be fairly loosey-goosey. It runs for 12 months. Make socks, put them in some kind of box or drawer. That's it. I don't care if they're knit or crocheted. Preferably adult size socks. They can be fingering weight, they can be DK weight, worsted weight. No, I don't care. Mine are 99% fingering weight. They can be knit or crocheted. I can't remember if I said that already or not. Doesn't matter. You can be 1 pair of socks. It can be 24 pair of socks. Whatever. And so I think I will open a chat thread and a second thread for just finished objects. And I'm going to be randomly drawing prizes through the year. I don't have a set schedule of when, whether it'll be monthly, quarterly, I don't know. But I will be drawing from the finished object thread. And what I would really love to see by the end of December, everyone that participates, just to post a picture of all the socks that they made in 2024 as part of the make along. If you only made 1 or 2 pair of socks, that's fine, just show me those. And then we'll have like a grand prize of some sort at the end of the year. So that's the general plan with that. The rules might evolve a little bit over the year, but not a lot. Like I say, loosey-goosey. Make socks, stick them in a box or drawer or somewhere. Stick them in a pile, like I've got my pile of socks behind my granny squares, which will be going in a box, a different box or drawer once I've got the December ones done. But I'm really starting to get rambly here, and I'm about ready for lunch. I'm hoping the hubby's going to be home from work soon so we can get lunch together and then get watching that football game and knitting. So I think that's about it. I probably had other things I didn't make notes for myself. Maybe that should be a goal, that in 2024 I'll make some show notes so that I actually can stay on topic and make sure I talk about the things I need to or want to talk about. Anywho, so I will open up that thread on Ravelry. I'll open it up probably sometime late tomorrow or Monday morning. And I'll lock down the Scrappy Sock make along. I will shut that one down on that one will get locked down probably on Monday morning as well. Yeah, I hear footsteps out in the hallway. Hubby's home, so I want to go for lunch or go to the kitchen and get some lunch. I'm hungry. So anyway, I'm gonna stop yakking and I will let you go, and I will see you again next year. Happy New Year, everybody. Bye.